Exactly. Hi again.
Hi again.
This morning, very early. But I was seeing the movie and I was meditating that it's a full circle, adventure.
Completely full circle.
But I can bet there was a little bit of nostalgia during this final chapter, isn't it?
Yes, and I think that this new movie is very, very much connected to the 1978 movie, stylistically, story-wise. I think they are partnered in a beautiful way, and it's just a perfect way to finish out this story. I'm sorry my back is to you. I'm going to turn a little bit. It's rude of me. Sorry.
Thank you.
So, another question that I'm very interested in. It's
What happened to your pants? Did you run into Michael?
yeah. You look like Michael Myers.
I know. They should do the Michael Myers collection of stuff.
Do you remember, Jamie, when you received the original script 45 years ago? And what were your thoughts immediately after reading it?
Well, first of all, I didn't get a script right away. You got something we called in America sides, which was basically a scene. When you're an actor and you're trying out for a part, you get like the 2 pages of the scene that you're going to do for the audition. It wasn't until I got closer down the line of auditioning that I finally read the whole script and realized what a big part it was. And of course, I was 19 years old. I had never made a movie. I had been in a TV show before where I had 1 line a week. Literally. There were like 6 women in every scene, and we each had like 1 line. And so this was an enormous opportunity for me. And I think that's when I started to go, oh, wow. But nonetheless, please, it was a little movie. It was not anything big and fancy. The office was tiny. It was in a crappy neighborhood in Hollywood. I mean, it was not fancy. It was not this. It was not this at all. It was really quite grungy.
But even that, you have a very famous parents. I bet you had the idea of making your career on your own, like doing like independent films, for example. Not at all?
So, I'm the only reason I'm an actor, it was an accident. I was never going to be an actor. I thought I'd be a cop. Right?
A good one.
Don't fuck with me, fellas. I thought I'd be a great cop.
We can see that on your films, huh?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Blue Steel. I was a
Blue
great
Steel,
cop.
exactly.
Great cop. I thought I'd be a social worker.
Mm-hmm.
I thought maybe I'd work with people. I'm good with people. Seriously. And I wasn't very smart, so I couldn't be a nurse or something. So I thought I'd be a social worker. And not to say that social workers aren't smart, but you know what I mean. I thought I would do that. And I was in college, and I came home at Christmas time, and I went to my friend's house, and a guy who used to teach tennis was there. His name is Chuck Binder. He still exists. And Chuck said to me, hey, Jamie, I'm managing actresses now. Because that's what you do in Hollywood. You're a tennis teacher and then you manage actresses. And I said, oh. And he said, they're looking for Nancy Drew at Universal. A couple of my clients have been up for the part. You should go up for that. And I was like, okay.
But that was the TV series. Nancy Drew, the TV series. Yes.
Yeah, but I'm saying, that's how I became an actor. I wasn't going to be an actor. And so I auditioned for Nancy Drew. Didn't get it. But then somebody said something to somebody, and it was like, whatever. And I ended up taking a month off of college. Not off, but you could take a month and do drama for 1 month. And I was able to, audition. And then at the end of the month, I was supposed to go back to absolutely go back to college, and I auditioned for a program called the Contract Players, like old movie stars used to be under contract to studios. And I auditioned for that program, and I said to them, I swear to you, with like no skill whatsoever. I said to her, look, this was fun, but I'm going back to college in 2 days, so if this is gonna happen, I need to know like tomorrow. I swear to you. And then she called me and they offered me a contract, so I quit college. That's how I became an actor. Then I ended up on a TV series, lucky to be on a TV series, even though I had one line. And then I was fired from that TV series. It's a very good question from a smart woman in the front row. I was fired from that TV series, and you guys will love this, even though it has nothing to do with Halloween, and you're like, stop talking about TV series, I want to talk about Halloween. It was a TV series based on a movie that Tony Curtis had starred in called Operation Petticoat, which was a movie about the Second World War, and Cary Grant and Tony Curtis were guys in the Navy on a submarine, and Tony was like a hustler, you know, young, handsome hustler, and they pick up 5 stranded Army nurses on an island, and the Army nurses have to live with them on the submarine, and all hell breaks loose. And they made a TV series of it. Now, when I was, and I was in that TV series, again, one woman, you know, one of 5 Army nurses in a submarine, and they decided that the problem with the show was the actors were bad, including John Astin, who was the original director, who ended up being an actor in the show because they couldn't cast it. And he said, okay, fine, I'll do it. John Astin. John Astin. The Addams fucking family. John Astin. And so, after we did an entire year of that TV series, they fired 11 actors.
Oh my God.
And kept 2. As if the problem wasn't that it doesn't make sense why the Army nurses wouldn't get off the sub. Like each week, they hit land, why would they get off? Thanks for the ride, fellas, and they get off. So anyway, they fired all the actors because we were the problem. And I was fired. I thought my life was over. I thought I was going to lose my contract. I now had been out of college. I thought my life was over. And if I hadn't been fired from Operation Petticoat, I would have never been able to audition for Halloween, the movie that changed my life. And Operation Petticoat was canceled after 2 episodes. That's a miracle for y'all, because if I had stayed on Operation Petticoat, I wouldn't have auditioned for Halloween and changed my life. And met you. That's a long story, but that's how I became an actor. So to your point, I was never going to be an actor. I just wasn't an actor.
How much is the part of luck or destiny in the career of an actress?
Well, there, I just told you. Luck and destiny, right there. There's a quote that I often say, and whoever, the woman who came up with it, who wrote it, came up with it, she wrote it. It's in a book, it's in a novel, in the middle of a novel. She's talking about how does life progress. You know, how most people think it's who you marry, and then what your job is, and what you get paid in your job, and that's how your life is going to proceed. And she says it isn't. She claims, her name is Marisha Pezel, the name of the book is Special Topics in Calamity Physics, it's a novel, and she says, quote, life hinges on a couple seconds you never see coming. Mm-hmm. And what you decide in those seconds determines everything from then on, and you won't know what you're going to do until you're there, end quote. That, ladies, gentlemen, and every other version there is my life, my career, my family life, everything. I saw none of it coming, not one thing. Even the story I just told you, how I became an actor. I wasn't going to be an actor. That's, to me, my life has hinged on constant moments of things, fate, destiny, luck, God, Quaaludes. I mean, what? Quaaludes, nobody laughed. Quaaludes was a drug, were a drug back in the day that made you very high. And I might have taken a couple at a time, many times. But you know what I'm saying? But I'm saying, like, who knows? Destiny. I mean,
what's immediate remembrance you have of shooting the original one and how it was working with John Carpenter?
so John is a wonderful guy, very quiet, Southern boy, calls you darling. Seriously. Very quiet guy. Knew what he needed, wanted very quickly. You know, we shot in 17 days, which is longer, is shorter. My tour that I am on is longer than the entire movie of Halloween by a week. And I guarantee you that this entire tour that I am on to promote the last film that John Carpenter gave birth to from 1978 to finish out this trilogy of movies, I guarantee you that the cost of this tour is 20 times bigger than the budget of the entire film, Halloween 17-day shoot. So John, we shot fast. There's this story, which I'm sure everyone's heard, but fuck it. I have the microphone. Never give an actress a microphone. It's always better to have them like on my lapel because then I'm really quiet and shy. But you put this in me, all of a sudden I'm like a stand-up comedian. I'm doing impressions. It's not good. There is a tale that day one we shot Lori coming out of her house with a pumpkin, saying I'll leave the key at the Myers house. All right, I won't. You know, all of that. Then the girls walking down the street, all of that. Michael driving by, hey, speed kills. You know, that conversation. There's the scene with Lori and Tommy delivering the key to the Myers house. And then the end scene of the day was Lori walking away singing I Wish I Had You All Alone. And we finished that day's work. It was in March, so the days weren't super long. They were still in the shorter, so you know, the light, whatever. And I got home, and I remember the phone rang, and my roommate, Tina, at the time, said, hey Jamie, John Carpenter's on the phone. Now it's a sort of it's like, it's not a joke because it's happened to many actors. If the director calls you like after the first day of work, your first thought is I'm fired. It's just your first thought. You know, hey Jamie, it's not working, or whatever. And so, you know, walking to that phone was the exact same expression that I have on my face when Lori is walking to the house across the street. That was my expression, and it took me that long to walk to the phone because I just didn't want to go pick up that phone because I was terrified I was going to be fired. And instead, I was like, hello? And John said, hey darling, I just want to tell you how great you were today and how excited I am about working with you, and you're going to be great, and the movie's going to be amazing, and I'm just so happy. I couldn't be happier. And I'm telling you guys, I'm 64 years old, November 22nd of this year, and no other director in my entire life as an actress has ever called me after the first day of work. When you're naturally nervous, you're naturally insecure, you're naturally wondering, how did I do, how was it, John Carpenter. That's who John Carpenter is. And I got the most, and we're not buddies, we don't hang out and stuff. I also got the most beautiful email from him after he saw my performance in this last movie, which was incredibly loving and supportive and complimentary, and again, just a perfect example of who John Carpenter is. What?
How can you tell the story? When the original one was released, it was not an instant hit.
Not at all.
Everybody can think like the opportunities for you as an actress were immediately after that.
Yeah.
But not happened that
No,
way.
it did not happen. It started out small, it grew very slowly. Obviously the reviews were good, but again, it's a little horror movie, guys. It's a little tiny horror movie. And so yes, it started to do well, but it wasn't like today where you're going to open up and see like, you know, I remember I have all the clippings. I have everything. And there are a couple from the trades, the Variety and Hollywood Reporter, where a couple of the things where it says Halloween, performing well. Like it started to build, but it wasn't an overnight thing where #1 in box office. You know, it wasn't anything like that. And John and Deborah, obviously, people were impressed with him as a filmmaker, and he was offered opportunities, and so other people started to get work. Dean Cundy got work, the cameraman, but I didn't. And the work I got, ladies and everyone's, was an episode of Charlie's Angels, as you can see, where I play a professional golfer. It was what I had never seen. I was a tennis player, but I play a professional golfer whose best friends were Cheryl Ladd. We ended up wrestling alligators in a river in that episode. And then I also did an episode of The Love Boat, where I was on my honeymoon, where my mother and father come with me on the honeymoon. And who played my mother in that show? Oh, I know, my mother, Janet Leigh. So you can imagine, I did this movie, people liked it, it was starting to make some dough. I thought maybe I'd get a job. Charlie's Angels and The Love Boat. And it was after that John Carpenter and Deborah wrote the part in The Fog for me and my mother. And that then started to give me a little more grounding. They put me on the poster of The Fog. That was that. You want to know, that was actually the bigger deal to me. That was the biggest deal. I remember when they sent the one sheet. And by the way, I'm going to give you all a really big secret because this is going to make you some money. We're about to make people money.
Okay, here.
If somebody says they have the original Halloween poster, you get to say to them, really, let me see it. And then they show it to you, right? It's smooth and it looks like this. And you get to go, oh, yeah, that's not an original poster. And they're going to be like, yeah, it is. I bought it on eBay. From a reputable seller. 5 stars. They used to fold posters. Posters, back in the day, did not get sent in tubes. They folded them into 16s. So 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. And the original poster has all these creases in it because I have one of the original ones right in my house. So I'm saying to you, if you have a poster that you want to pretend is an original poster, fold it. Thank you.